Right, we're going to have Mike Mycroft with us today. Staffordshire Coach of the Year. Legend in the game. And we're just going to be talking all things grassroots football, how you can get involved in grassroots football, how you can get your children involved in grassroots football, the good, the bad, the ugly of grassroots football. Yeah, here we go. Man, can you hear me, Mike?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Sweet. How you doing?
I'm all right, yeah.
I'm sound, mate. I'm sound. I know this is a big deal for you coming on this channel to speak about grassroots football, because I know I'm a bit of an idol of yours, aren't I? You really look up to me. How you doing? Are you all right?
Is it a bit laggy or are we okay?
It seems okay on my end. You keep the screen just went black for a second then.
Yeah, it should
But
be
it
okay.
seems
It should be okay.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay then. So, like I said just before you joined, Mike, I'm not sure if you heard, but I just gave you a brief introduction.
Yeah.
It's the Staffordshire, that's the whole of Staffordshire, grassroots Coach of the Year. Was it 2019 or 2020?
2019.
2019. And you know what? I reckon you would have won it in 2020 as well, mate, if it were for COVID.
Well, they phoned me up and they said, you've won it again. I said, nah, I can't. You gotta share it round.
So what's next for Mike? Shropshire? Yorkshire?
I might have a look down London.
So, I mean, okay, all jokes aside, I know me and you, right, we banter each other all the time. I'm always taking the piss out your South East Staffordshire Coach of the Year.
Yeah.
But, you know what, I'm going to be quite serious on this one. I think you deserve it because I've never known anyone so dedicated to grassroots football in all my life. Like, the stuff you do is just absolutely crazy.
You've got to know what you're doing now still.
Yeah, but the fact that you ain't got a clue what you're doing and yet you're still doing it makes it even better and more impressive. So, just, this could take a while, but just give us a little overview as to the stuff that you're involved in grassroots football.
Okay, at the moment, I do a girls' academy and under 9s girls team. I do an under 11s boys team, an under 14s girls team, and I'm involved in adults football as well.
So that's 5 teams. Oh no, so you've got an under 9s girls team that you're running.
Yeah.
Coaching.
A girls' academy.
A girls' academy.
Yeah.
An under 11s boys team.
Yeah.
An under 14s girls team.
And then adults, and then some adult stuff. Yeah.
So that's 5 teams. Now as you know, I've been involved in grassroots football really successfully as well. I only did 1 team at a time, and I found that a struggle. It was a headache, mate. Really bad. How do you manage your time to do so much?
You've just got to you got to have an understanding family. That's one. And you've got to commit to it. You just got to go all in. Else, it's just not going to work. You can't decide one week, I don't fancy it today. Even when you don't feel up to it or you don't feel like it, that's when you've got to keep going.
But how do you find the pressures? Because I mean, I found some weeks, say if you're feeling a bit under the weather, you might have a headache or you got a bit of man flu, and you could really be doing the session. But do you feel like the pressure's there from yourself and the parents to push through regardless of what's going on?
Yeah, I think if you say to your parents, "Oh, I don't really feel up to it today, the training's off," it's not going to work. So you've got to unless you're ill, you've just got to get on with it. And that's where you need some good assistant trainers as well. Like any new manager, I always tell them, make sure you've got a good number 2 with you, because it makes a massive difference. And if you want to get involved in kids football and coaching, it's impossible to do a good job, a good enough job on your own. You need to have a good assistant with you. A 2 or 3 doesn't hurt. Doesn't matter if it's 3 or 4 of you. The more you can offer and the more help there is, the better the experience is for the parents and the kids.
But how have you found getting a good assistant? I mean, I know who you've got at Lane. I'm not going to. Exactly. That's what makes it even more impressive. You've got Eka at the night, who's as useful as a chocolate fire guard. Well, but do you not find it's a struggle to get people involved in grassroots football?
Yeah, it is. It is now. But I think I've been lucky in the fact that the people that helped me have either played with me or been in football, or I've managed them, but when they were adults. So obviously I was a young adult manager. I was like managing in my early 20s for adult teams. So I've sort of brought a couple across, and you need somebody who loves football as well. You can't be one of them who, like, the only time he really sees a football is when he brings his kid to training, because it can get a bit. It's hard. It's like you gotta love it, but that getting parents involved is difficult, and you need to make sure you have a good relationship. You can't. It doesn't work if you've got different ideas all the time. So you've got to set out your stall and then stick to your guns. But you do need the help. But getting new parents involved is difficult now. Really difficult. I'm finding it difficult to get the parents involved.
But it's so frustrating, isn't it? Because it's a. I'm not even going to say it's a part-time job. It's a full-time job, isn't it? Running a team, whether it be kids or adults. You know, we're all volunteers and we're all doing it for free.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating that people aren't willing to get involved, and it makes you think, like, why don't more people want to get involved? Because when they're on the opposite side of the pitch, everyone's Jose Mourinho, aren't they?
Yeah. But I mean, what you've got to remember is, for them, it's not. I can understand why they're worried. At the end of the day, as a parent, you can bring your kid to football, stand on the other side and think you're Alex Ferguson for an hour, and then you get in the car, you take your kid home, and you forget about that then as a parent. You ain't interested. I mean, you might be moaning at your own kid, like the parents give the kids grief, or parents moaning about coaches to other people, and you think you can do a better job. It's not the case. But it's sort of, you've just got to understand that it's not just about the match. It's about planning training. It's about sorting kit. And I think that type of thing worries parents, like where you're going to get the money from for kits, sponsors, and things like that. And then it's like collecting subs and running bank accounts and fundraising. You have to sort of have all those things in place. Some people can do it all on their own. Like, I'm lucky where I've got help with that. So we've got parents who do the fundraising. I've got like help. It's doing kits and sponsors and stuff. You need help from the parents to help you go and find it. But if you get supportive parents, it's ideal. But that's what puts people off, because they sort of think, I'm on my own now. That's where I think it's really important for the clubs to offer mentorship and make sure the committee members are there to support new managers.
But in your opinion, do you think people might be put off, like you said, because of little support from clubs? But do you think that the FA could do more to get people involved in grassroots football? Because one thing that you find now is that everyone, to run a team, you've got to have your level 1, haven't you?
You do. You have to have it within 12 months, yeah.
Well, yeah, within 12 months, because obviously you've got your safeguarding and your first aid. Yeah. But do you think that the FA could do more to help grassroots football, or do you think that they're doing enough as it stands?
I think there should be more opportunities for mentors to come out from the FA to sessions, but the FA are not prepared to invest the money in the people who want to do it. So I know for a fact, from being close in the FA with the girls' side of things in football, that roles for mentors are hard to get. You can't just you need to be a minimum level 2. They really want you A for B, and they want you to have a lot of experience. And they're not easy to find. They're not easy to find. So they need to put more work in, put in enough money to make it worthwhile, the mentors, to take them roles. Do you know what I mean? So put proper jobs out there where they can go out and part-time and 3-4 hours a week, at least, and pay their expenses to get there and help. Because if I phone you up and say, oh, this manager's struggling, go and help him, but you'd rather sit at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, they could be supporting more, really, with mentorship, definitely. I mean, you can phone them up and you can get it, but there's only so many per area.
Yeah, I mean, I think even with or without the mentorship, I think you got to look at the stress that it brings. That if we just, let's say, focus on kids football, because you charge your subs every month, but you understand, obviously, where we live in Wolverhampton, it's not the most affluent part of the world, is it? So you don't want to be charging people through the nose to coach football. But when you add up how much it costs to run a kids team for a season, it's absolutely ridiculous.
They probably could offer more support. They've got, at the end of the day, if you're willing to do a level 1 course and pay the FA to do that, or your club supporting you by paying you to do it, they at least should be banging you a few kits and raincoats and stuff like that. So for your first year, that's some of the pressure took off.
Defo.
If I could say to new managers who the kids that I coach in the academy, if I could say to them, right, listen, if you want to get involved. For the first year, all your kits and that's guaranteed. You ain't got to worry about money, blah blah blah. And they give you a lump sum to put in the bank to start you off. If you're prepared to go and open up a team bank account, a proper one, and prove that, and then they'll put a lump sum into that because the money's there. This is
what I always think, because the money's got to be there. Because you look at the money in football and it's absolutely ridiculous now, isn't it? And we're all under the same umbrella. We're all under the same FA. But not even pitch hire. Look how expensive it is in the winter.
Yeah.
I think it's really holding back people getting involved. And it's not just people getting involved. It's the whole British English culture of developing young footballers, because how much is it to hire an 4G for an hour now? What are you looking on average?
30, 40 quid. But the reason it's that expense is because they need to charge that to cover the bills. They do need to charge that, but the places are very limited.
Yeah.
So there should be subsidiary from the FA to FA affiliated teams. So if it should be 40 quid, you can get a discount for 20 and they can claim back.
Yeah.
Now, if you're a group of blokes who are just having a knock around and you can all just chuck your fiver in when you want to go and play, that's a bit different. But for a team who's got to commit to a pitch all year round and it's 40 quid a week, there should be a bit of leeway with the FA. So if you do go there, you turn up and you pay money, they can claim some back and you can get money back and stuff.
Because one thing, go on.
How many pitches are there? There's not many, is there?
Not many. I mean, you think in Wolverhampton, obviously you have to think of this. Well, you don't, because you just bloody rinse goals every year. You bloody run the place virtually. But when you think, okay, so, I don't know, say there's 15, 20 grassroots clubs in Wolverhampton. How many facilities have they got to choose from? You got goals, St Chad's, copies. There's not many really, is that, for winter training? You're probably looking at 6 or 7 facilities across the whole city.
Yeah.
And I think when you like that, it's like, surely the FA can be doing more to help at this level. Because, I mean, you've got people like yourself, you're out there 7 days a week, really, aren't you?
Yeah.
Grassroots.
I mean, it's like Azza there. I've just seen Azza in the comments. A good lad from Black Country Hunters. He runs a kids team, and he's saying that we need more 4G pitches, and we do. And the reason it's so hard for teams to play and get pitches on a weekend is because there isn't any.
Yeah.
There ain't enough grass pitches, to be honest. There's not enough grass pitches.
But how much is it to hire a council pitch now on a Sunday morning, say?
If you need changing rooms, you're looking at about 50, 60 quid, up to £70 for adults.
And let's be honest, the condition and the state of the council pitches.
Yeah, well, if you think about
Well,
it, I mean, even though if you consider we've had COVID around for 12 months, so that's killed the football.
yeah,
Before that, weather was killing it because you just can't play them.
no, not at all.
It's just your games are called off all the time. But you know from experience that if you're on the grass and it's been raining for a week, you ain't playing.
Well, I mean, we get when was it? I don't know. Last season under 10s, and there's a couple of clubs in our age group, but I think they was playing an age up.
Yeah.
It was our last year on the 4G.
Yeah, I know you're on about, yeah.
How many matches did they play between September and March?
I think it was
They
like 3 games.
three matches, didn't they?
Yeah.
And how can devoted grassroots coaches develop players when they're playing 3 games in? All right, I'm not even talking about COVID because nobody can control that, and I know you can't control the weather, but maybe facilities-wise.
Yeah, well, if you think about all the centres that we play on in the Black Country area, like if that FA would invest in turning those into 4G, we'd be okay. But you got to remember as well, the 9v9 facilities are really bad. Like for 4G, there's hardly nothing.
Which that makes me laugh in a way because it's the FA that introduced the 5v5, 7v7, 9v9, 11v11 and the pathway. Because when me and you was kids, it was just straight. Even if you're 7 years old, it don't matter. 11 aside, near enough 4-size goals. And to be fair, I think it's really good the way the FA have done it with that pathway.
Yeah, it helps get kids involved because when I was playing under 10s and under 9s, 10s, 11s, we just played 11s.
Yeah.
We played 11 aside. When I played for Bilston Town Boys, I remember it was full. It was like 15 of us. And like to play 11 aside football. So, yeah. But like I say, unless they increase them, we ain't got a chance.
Well, that's why it makes me laugh because the FA have made the decision to bring in, because I'd never really heard of 9-a-side football until I got involved in coaching at a junior level. So the FA have said, okay, this is how we're going to do it, but then they've not provided people with the facilities to be able to do so. And to me, it just makes no sense. It's absolutely balmy.
If you think about how much land's out there as well, like that's not used.
It's ridiculous.
Or school facilities. At least at the schools, they could invest in the schools, and then the schools got the power to hire out their facilities to people.
Yeah, I think that needs not a big shake-up, but it certainly needs a review. Grassroots football in England because it's so underfunded. It's ridiculous, and then you got people like you who you might not see. Well, you're lucky that you coach your kids, but imagine how much family time you are taken away from because of how much you have to put in to grassroots because you can't get the support and you can't get the people to help you, so you can maybe take a little bit of a step back.
Yeah, I mean, but I suppose on the other hand though, they enjoy it and they enjoy being involved. So
yeah,
it's one of them. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, it can. I know a lot of people who give up because it just takes too much of the time. But you think you've got to have a family that's all on board for it.
So if there's anybody out there who sort of would like to get involved in grassroots football but is a bit nervous, what sort of hints or tips or ideas would you give to them?
I think the first thing to do is when you take your kids to the local clubs, if they have got academy facilities like at Lionhead where I'm at, we run an academy, boys academy and a girls academy. So between the ages of from five you can get started. And I think that if you've got the confidence or you want to express an interest, get involved from the off. Tell the coaches at the club, I'm bringing my son, I want to get involved. Is that okay? I'll get the DBS sorted and all that, and you can get involved. Because if you can coach 6-7 year olds for a season in one of them academies, you can do it. Trust me. It's like herding cats some weeks. So it's like if you can get through that, mate, you can coach anything, and it's good because and then I think it's important that you get support from the club. Like we make sure our coaches are supported, our new coaches. Make sure they've got their first kit, and then make sure you've got the first set of raincoats and stuff like that. because it just takes the pressure off them. And then if they might just take the ball by the horns and be fine, but they've got to understand that there's people who need the support a couple of seasons down the line still. And I think other coaches in the club should do more as well, like experienced coaches. If you've coached a team from under 7s and they're now under 16s, yeah, Baker just says get a car with massive boots. Yeah, definitely. And if you coach a team from under 7s to under 16s, you know the game. And I think it's only fair that you can put a bit of time into new coaches, and they might say, "Oh, you don't know what he's talking about." They might not want the help, which is fair enough. But I think it's a case of knowing that people are there to help.
Yeah, definitely,
so
mate.
Get yourself and your kids involved. I think, like, you've just got to look for the clubs local to your area, like Willenhall, Walsall. There's Lionhead. There's other clubs available, and just get in touch with them, and they'll sort you out. Well, I'll sort you out anyway.
But like, for anybody who would like to get involved and maybe looks at it from a negative point of view, what positive spin can you put on coaching at a grassroots level?
Okay. So, it's hard to describe the moment where you set your team up, you set your training sessions up, and then your team goes out there, wins their first game. I mean, obviously not everyone's going to be able to get them playing like I can, joke. But when you teach them something in training and it comes off and they come to your advice, and it's not just football you're teaching them, you're teaching them about life and stuff as well. And I think it's rewarding. The rewards come. Obviously, it doesn't always run smoothly, and there can be problems along the way. But like I say, it's rewarding to see your kid doing something good with their friends, making friends, and when your kids score your first goal, run up to you to celebrate. It weighs out the bad situation.
100%.
And you do have to prepare to learn as you go. Like, I made mistakes under 7s, under 8s, under 9s, massive ones. With how you set things up in your team. Not so much the footballing side, but have the right number of players. Don't over recruit, because people are putting pressure on you to sign their kid. You've sort of got to just say, listen, I'll try and find them somewhere else. The worst thing you can do is have too many players. Yeah. When you see him developing and getting and loving it, it's the best.
For me, there's no better feeling. Like you said, when you do something in training and you've done it over a period of weeks, and then you see it transition into a match, even if it's just like a phase of play. Or like, I mean, we was talking earlier. Remember, like the first ever games that the kids would play, and the ball would go that way, and then just 10 kids would go that way, and then you look at how they're playing now, and it's like you're watching a proper game of football. You know, they're all keeping their shape, their position, they're knocking it about nicely, and sometimes I think you just need to sit back and think they're there because of the hard work.
It makes you feel proud. So, a good point now. Somebody rang me the other day who's coaches an under 11s team and he's taking on an under 7s team, and he was like, he was asking him about advice for training, and I said, you have, for under 7s and 8s especially, any new coaches out there, don't think of it as training. There just has to have fun. Yeah. Because you're not going to turn a 7-year-old little Jimmy into the next John Terry at the back or the next Sol Campbell. Do you know what I mean?
Can you not?
Not even you could. Not even you could. So I see coaches with tactic boards bigger than the kids, and they put the markers on, right? And then you this set piece, you do that, and I'm just thinking, this ain't gonna last. Just get them enjoying football and laughing at training. Yeah. And just playing games, having fun. 5v5, as I can. Under 7s and 8s, just let them have fun. The positions will figure themselves out, and then when you sort of get 7v7, and then that's where you start to improvise with formations and bring that into football. But mix them up as well, because you get some players who can only play one position and they're good at that, so that's fine. But some kids, you need to figure out where to play. So just try them in different roles, and then as you develop to 9v9, you spent them 4 years ready to proper prepare them for different style of football, ready for 11v11. But the first 2 years has just got to be fun and enjoyment. Like, don't put pressure on them. An equal game time.
Yes, equal game time for the first 6 months. Nah, joking. No, but you're right. It's all about having fun, and at that age, kids, I think just in life anyway, you learn more when you're having fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Naturally.
I mean, like I said to the coach who phoned me, you are not going to get an under 7s and 8s, go home and remember something that you taught them tactically. It doesn't happen. They go home, play Fortnite, and forget about it. So, just let them have fun. Like, do you know what I mean? There's no training to let them have fun and let them see them laughing and stuff. You know what I mean? Don't make them do 10 laps around the pitch if they miss a penalty in training, stuff like that. It's just, and leave your tactic board at home, because, you know what I mean? You just don't need it for 5-a-side football. Just
Yeah.
All they do with them tactic boards is draw pictures.
Like an Etch-a-Sketch. You might as well just take an Etch-a-Sketch, hadn't you? Yeah. To be fair.
Well, in fact, actually, I did take one once, and they were teaching Eka how to spell.
I bet that was harder than teaching a 5-year-old how to do a Rabona.
Playing hand with him and teaching him new words.
But do you not think as well, like, one thing that I find about kids' football over the years is take the football away from it, and you know, like the social side and the confidence that it gives kids. Yeah. And sometimes I just take a step back and I think of my house, and then I think he's got friends here, friends there, friends everywhere, and that's all come just through football. I think sometimes when people aren't involved in football, they don't sort of understand just how much it can grow a child's confidence and
100%.
And the social side. I think it's absolutely amazing. I just wish there was more people who was willing to get involved in the day-to-day running of grassroots football, because there's not enough out there. There's not enough good coaches out there, because I mean, we could probably sit here all day and tell you some horror stories of what we've seen from some of the coaches in the World League. Like it.
I mean, there's some people. I mean, it ain't all sunshine and roses, is it? There's some coaches who should not be near kids, and that's where, as a club, you have to be strict. Your committee have got to be strong, because I have seen some absolute donuts running teams, screaming on the pitch, running on the pitch to the ref, having a go at kids. Often managers leave a kid of a 30-minute game on the subs bench for 28 minutes. Yeah. And then throw him on when they make sure they're winning.
But do you not think that's where it's that catch-22 situation? Because we can see that there's some bad people involved in junior grassroots football, but then it comes back to there's just clubs, they're quite desperate just to sort of get somebody to run the team.
This is one of the problems. I think that it's important as club, like running academies and stuff, that you get these people involved and you have a look at them as well. It's not just about you seeing if you like it. It's about the clubs sort of thinking, well, is he going to be okay running a team? Is he going to have the right mentality? Because it can be stressful. You know what I mean? It can be. And other managers annoy you on the side of the pitch. You've got to really control yourself with that.
It's hard sometimes, man. It is hard.
There's one team in League, I ain't going to completely call them out, but the under-14s girls managers, and they do more running than Mo Farah. They are
just up and down the
running up and down the line, up and down, and I'm just standing in my little technical area watching them run like that. And I'm just like, give them a medal at the end of the game for the one sports day. But it's part and parcel. That you have to look back and you have to sit back and think that at least they're prepared to just do it. So we've all got different ways. I suppose you can't say their way is the wrong way, but I think aggressive towards the kids and name calling and kicking off and that. But it is what it is. That'll always be a part of football, won't it? But there's a lot of good people out there who want to be involved who just don't have the confidence, and it's about how we as a club can encourage them to trust themselves and give it a go.
I mean, I just want to say, if anybody has ever thought, you know what, I wouldn't mind getting involved in grassroots football, but that maybe not have the confidence, just DM the Fancast or DM Mike, whatever, and just ask us anything, and we're more than happy to sort of give you a bit of advice.
If you want help with coaching, make sure you inbox me, though. No, all jokes aside, yeah. There's people who know the crack. There's people in this thread who know the crack, and just because you're from a different club doesn't mean that people aren't going to help. Because at the end of the day, we're all we should be helping each other. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
So there's plenty of clubs out there looking for coaches and players and stuff.
I mean, look, just, me and you, we've never been a part of the same club, but we've always helped each other out over the years, haven't we? With players who, was that your kid, son?
Yeah. That bit I said about the violence.
I don't get this sort of rivalry between clubs where they'll refuse to send players to other clubs. I don't know why.
Here's a perfect example to talk about this. Like, obviously we know I've sent players to AFC Wolves before, your club, and there's no problem with that. Like, obviously you can offer them to your own club first, but the main thing is help the people find kids to play. You know what I mean? Help them find places to play, because the kids just want to play.
Of course, mate. Of course. Then that's what I don't understand. That. Like, I mean, I've had kids come up to me before my team might have been full. Can we play? Can we play? And I'll give them the number for any club. It makes no odds to me as long as that kid starts playing football and creating memories from playing football, getting that experience. And there's just too many people, and a lot of people, I just think it's down to the ego. Their own personal ego.
Yeah. I mean, I ain't going to mention any clubs, but there's one club, obviously, in the Staffordshire region and in the Black Country region who are just obsessed with having the most teams and being the best, where it's not about that. It's about, are your managers happy and are the kids happy?
Yeah.
And are your players all being treated as fairly as they can be? Because as a committee member as well, like, if I think that there's kids being treated unfairly by managers, then you need to pull them up.
Yeah, definitely.
If I don't like it, go to a club that don't care.
Because, I mean, you've got to think ultimately, at the end of the day, we are coaching and teaching and mentoring the next generation of coaches and Saturday League, West Mids regional level players. And, well, I mean, we might get the odd one who, earns a bit of money out of it, but we want to try and keep these kids engaged in the game, so to help it grow again when we're long dead and gone.
Yeah. The one thing for me that I've tried to do differently as well, and I'm really pushing it over the last 12. Well, I was pushing it before COVID, and I'm going to carry on doing it. Is I'm encouraging younger players to get involved in coaching and refereeing, because not all kids are going to be good enough to carry on playing, or they might not want to carry on playing because of union stuff, but they might want to get involved in coaching. Like, sort of, so many of my under 14s girls players want to do like GCSE PE and get involved in that aspect, and I think that's important. It's not just about playing after football, like as an adult. There's opportunities there for coaching and referee.
Yeah, definitely.
They can earn themselves decent money on a weekend. And I'm trying to offer support with that, offer level ones, offer referees courses to any players who want to get involved. They've just got to get in touch with me.
I think that's another one, refereeing. I think that's really good. My dad, who's involved at Albury, he's heavy on pushing kids into reffing and coaching, really heavy on it. But sometimes, like, I've thought about it myself with my own son. Would I ever try and push him in the direction of reffing to sort of keep him involved in the game, earn a bit of pocket money and whatever? But sometimes I look at some of these coaches and even sometimes some of the players, and the way they talk to the refs, you got to think.
I mean, you've got to have thick skin. You can't, like, you have to just sort of turn up. Like, I heard a bad story yesterday about one of our refs, which how he was treated by his own people in his own club, which is just bad. But you've got to have thick skin, because, like, if I was refereeing, if my kids was refereeing, and I've seen some of the clowns where they talk to the refs and the way the players are, I mean, you just want to run on and clothesline them, but
Yeah.
you just got to have thick skin and just remember that it's just part and parcel of the game.
But
And I think it's really important that on the refs courses that they prepare them for it.
Yeah.
And
But
be honest, because it's not always going to run smooth.
But then should we be preparing refs to get abused?
No,
like,
we shouldn't have to be, but we do have to because it's just the way it is. It's just the way managers are. Some managers are obsessed with winning at all costs, and some players just can't hack it if a decision doesn't go their way. And it's just one of them things. It won't be. There's no way to eradicate it from the game, is there?
There's what? Sorry.
There's no way to eradicate it from the game, is there? I don't think there's any way it can be stopped. I'd like to see in the comments actually by anybody who's watching a way to eradicate abuse from football, because you can't keep sending everybody off.
But does it need to get to a point where we go through a bit of a period of a season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, where it is you abuse a ref, bang, straight away, red card, you're off?
Yeah.
But then you've got the flip side where, imagine reffing in the Sunday League, Wolverhampton Sunday League, on a Sunday morning out of Fairness Park, sending everyone off.
Yeah, you just get wading. It's just the case of that generation's got no they've got no chance of changing that generation now. But I think with the new generation, I think that it's important that we just do our best to try and teach the players and new coaches.
Yeah.
You know, like the best we can. So what people saying here, don't expect refs to be perfect. We don't expect it from our players and coaching. No, it's right. You can't expect referees to be perfect because none of us are. Like, we all think we see a penalty or in the box or an handball, but we might be wrong.
Yeah.
And the ref might just have. The ref could be having abuse from a parent about something that's just happened further on the pitch, and they might miss it. So it's just one of them.
Because, I mean, over the years, I've reffed a couple of the kids' games, and I'll be honest, I mean, I'm pretty thick-skinned, and I've took plenty of abuse over the years, but you do get a bit nervous that you're going to miss something, and you know, you could really affect the game just by missing something, even though I'm not even a qualified ref. I was only doing it to help out, like in a couple of the Babbies matches.
Yeah.
That's
a good one there from Nick. Teach the kids to call the refs sirs from when they play at school. So I think that's because you wouldn't do it to your teachers, would you, in class?
Exactly.
So maybe like encouraging that in school and playing more when you're playing sport in school to sort of install it into them. But it's down to the coaches to make sure their players and parents behave as well as much as you can. So don't get me wrong, we've all had an outburst at the ref in football.
Oh yeah.
But there's a line like week in, week out from some people, the same people. It's just too much. Like I've had a player who I let go. Can't obviously won't mention any names. But it wasn't the only reason. But I've seen him kick a ball at a ref. Smash.
And what age is that? Were you talking like under 10s, under 11?
Yeah, it's young, yeah.
Yeah.
And like constantly having a pop at the ref, constantly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm to the ref. Send him off.
But then the problem is if it's happening on your team and you're of that mentality of send him off. Once the player walks over, you know, you speak to him, and I'm backing the ref here because you spoke to him out of turn. Can't do that on a football pitch. You've got to show respect. But then how many coaches are you going to get who's then going to go off at the ref?
Yeah. I mean,
it needs a whole culture change, I think, towards referees.
Like Gully just said there, it comes from the top of the game. Like the kids see it, don't they? Surrounding the ref. You know what I love recently? That ref who went into that place.
Yeah.
You should be able to stick up for themselves. He got done for that and suspended.
Of course. And, you know, obviously players will abuse the ref if he misses a call. But maybe the ref should give it back. If somebody plays a ball, a 5-yard pass, and it goes out of play.
Yeah.
Just give, or they miss an open goal. Like, fuck it out, mate. What was that?
Yeah.
Just give it back to them. Give it back to them.
Like if I was reffing adults football on a Sunday and someone's giving me grief, I'm going to body slam him. So it's like, but obviously the refs can't do it to the kids, can they? They just got to
Well,
take it.
one incident that I'm not going to say it upset me, but I thought was quite disgusting was I remember seeing a ref, and he couldn't have been any older than 14. And it wasn't a match that I was involved in. I was sort of like warming my team up before they went onto the pitch because of the match on before us. And you can hear the parents abusing this ref who's like 14 years old. And sometimes surely you've got to think that this is a child here. You know what I mean? Like, if he misses a penalty or he misses a throw or he misses a free kick in a under sevens or under eights game of football, is it the end of the world? And does he need and deserve abuse as a 14-year-old child?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, mate. Absolutely ridiculous.
I know. It's something that there's a lot of things in football that people need to be educated on. Obviously, there's obvious ones, but it's down to schools, social media, FAs to put things in place to just knock it on the head early doors and teach these coaches and these players. So yeah.
I mean, I'm just looking at this comment here. This is forget eradicating abusing the refs. How do we eradicate racism? Jude Bellingham. I've not heard about Jude Bellingham, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's been the latest to be racially abused today. But one thing I will say, in regards to the children that I've coached, and all right, you might say it's too young, but often I don't think I've had one instance, or it's very rare that I've even heard of an instance of racism amongst. So I think hopefully he's getting better because the education.
Well, I mean, obviously, I don't know if you want to talk about it, but I have.
Yes, and I did have that one incident actually.
I had one of my players said something to somebody.
Yeah.
Kicked him out of the team, but and it was a case of like you need to like the things that he says. It comes from the parents. A 9-10-year-old kid ain't just going to come out with that. It comes from home. So parents have, if parents need educating, but some of them don't. They ain't bothered or they don't want to be helped. Yeah. But there needs to be more done in schools about educating it. Like obviously, I've linked up with Kick It Out with the girls' side of the club and the boys' side of the club, and I'm organising workshops for all new coaches and players and parents to do workshops with Kick It Out and stuff. Because the only way you're going to help kids verbally by helping them stop it verbally is by education and things like that. But on social media, it's down to the platforms to do more to identify people.
Well, I mean, the issue I had that I had to deal with, that was via social media. And the racism did come via social media. But similar to you, it was obviously find out and you're gone. And I suppose from at a coaching level, it's not all you can do, but obviously when it's presented to you, you just hope that if any coach experiences or hears of racism from their players, whether they be under 60s or veterans 35 plus, that's it. You are no longer playing for this club anymore.
Because we're talking about it, I'm going to talk about the story because it might help other coaches and how to deal with it. Now, we had a game, obviously I won't mention any names, we're playing a game and we're playing against an Asian team. I won't mention the team. And I think we were under 9s or 10s. And I had a player who had a bit of behavioural problems and stuff like that. And he was hard work. He was proper hard work. And I stuck with him. And then we were playing one Sunday morning. And he's turned around to the Asian lad and said, "Go back to your own country." Now, it was as I was rotating the subs. He said it as he was walking past him. So I've heard it, and I took like 5-10 seconds to process what I just heard because I was shocked, and I'm trying to look after all my other kids as well. And some of my players heard it, and they're looking at me like that. The parents heard it because it was right on the cage where we were playing. And I said, what have you just said? And he was like, and he said, he tried to cover it up and lie, and I wanted to make sure I heard that correctly. So I waited till the game had finished. I spoke to the parents who I know had heard it. I spoke to the kids, and I got it confirmed. What I heard was right, because I was in shock, really. I didn't want to make a massive scene of it, so I waited till the end of the game, let all the kids go, and I asked those parents of the kid to stay behind. Told them, and it was my fault, and I'm picking on him. Now I just couldn't believe that. Now, in that situation, heat of the moment, like I'm just thinking he's got to go, or should I get the FA involved and get him suspended, or get him an online workshop to realise what he's done. So all them things are running through my head. In the end, I let him go because I can't be having that. And the example, you've got to set an example.
100%.
And it's not just about. And it wasn't really massive in the media at the time as what it is right now.
Yeah.
It's like it's on top now with all these people doing it to people on social media. But this is a 9-year-old kid who said this. Now, he's been kicked out of his football team. Now, I had to make that choice. And I got hate from it, and obviously complaints and stuff by the parents. But at the end of the day, he hasn't just come out with that.
Of course not.
For me, that is something that he's hearing at home. Now,
100%.
I ain't going to bore people, but my best friends growing up were black. And I've been they looked after me proper. And so it's never been something in my life that's ever affected my decisions or anything I've ever said. And so it's just I don't get it because I've just grew up with them families, and it's just being accepting everybody is part of just who I am. So my kids are taught exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
And if I ever heard if they ask questions or whatever, I educate them immediately, and they understand what's right and what's wrong. And so I think it's just educational, really, from T kids.
Definitely comes down
like I say, we've teamed up with Kick It Out. I ain't going to bore everyone anymore about that story, but we've teamed up with Kick It Out. I'm looking to improve the understanding education in new coaches, parents and players. And what it actually does, those words, do affect them for life.
Definitely, and I think, you've got to set the example because as well, I mean, the incident I had, when it got brought to my attention, I found the manager of the team and we had the conversation. Obviously, we got the sort of evidence and we had that conversation. What do we do? And now I look back and I think, I can't even believe I thought, what do we do? But, do you educate the player or, do you just boot him out? And not boot him out, but, we release the player in the end because you've got to set that example. What if we would have said, okay, well, we're going to now go and educate this person? It's not saying it's going to work. And then what if the person who got abused is to then get abused again by the same individual? It's a real safeguarding concern. And with safeguarding in junior football, and it's mad because we're volunteers, but these are actually the massive decisions that we have to make. Absolutely huge.
Yeah. I mean, you've just got to just respect each other in life as well. It's not just about football, is it? It's like people shouldn't be able to go to football games and do their job and be racially abused. It's just madness. It's just absolute madness. But
I can't believe how bad it's getting. It's literally every day.
We could spend all night talking about it, but until people like the FA pull their finger out, I know for a fact that the Kick It Out and the FA organisations, they don't support the Kick It Out. Don't think in 1 minute. They don't fully support them. They're struggling. They're struggling to do what they've got to do. They don't get the funds and stuff. But the FA could give them.
Kick It Out aren't getting the funds from the FA.
No, so basically, when you become a Kick It Out charter club, like we have, when you sign up and stuff, you can buy all the patches for the kits. Now I'm gonna be ordering patches and stuff for our next set of kits, the Kick It Out badges. But obviously we've got to pay the Kick It Out because they need to generate funds to put workshops on and pay volunteers, and they can't just you have to generate money to supply these different bits and pieces and supply the workshops and that. But the FA should be making it fundamental that there's education programs on the level ones for coaches.
Yeah.
There should be it should be involved. There should be extra workshops funded
What around racism?
Yeah, because it shouldn't be down
Well,
to
discrimination. Because
it shouldn't be down to like the kick it out to have to raise money to be able to spend the money is what I'm trying to say.
My opinion on the kick it out and the relationship with the FA is that to me it's just a token gesture from the FA, like, yeah, we are doing something, but they're not.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just for show.
Like somebody's asked about, do we think the knee's working? Now, it's got people talking, but the problem it causes is you get people who think, oh, so does my life matter as well?
Yeah, you get that.
People are conflicted with what the actual message is, and I think, like, now it's just creating problems again. Now I don't think we should stop it because it's creating the conversations. But
I mean, like, spot on. The knee's working in the sense of it's creating conversations. Like through the Fancast, we've done 2 racism podcasts now.
Yeah.
Not on the back of that, but it's and obviously now we're having this conversation. This was meant to be talking about grassroots football, how to get involved in grassroots.
We will go back to that.
And now we're talking about racism, which I don't mind because, as far as I'm concerned, the more it's spoke about, the better.
Yeah.
But it's not working because, in my opinion, racist abuse towards footballers is at an all-time high. I've never seen it this bad before. Never. It's absolutely ridiculous because, in my opinion, people think because it's not being said face to face, it's not a problem no more.
Yeah.
Or it's on the decrease, but it's not. In my opinion, I think it's getting worse. It's just the way that the racism's being delivered to its target that's changed. So instead of being face to face, it's just all online.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way people should be allowed to be able to just do an account on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook without proving who you are.
100%.
Because it's just like you can create a free email and off your way you go.
Yeah.
So until they change that, these multi-million-pound companies, it's an absolute joke. But you could talk for hours and hours, and people could get involved in the conversation. But yeah, whether it's working or not, back to the question there, Smithy or Smith-Meister. I think it was working because it got people talking, but then the problem with is, well, who is BLM and all that, and what are they doing? It can be a political issue then, and it's like sort of it's deflecting away from the message that we should be listening to.
Once it becomes political, you lose the argument.
Yeah, people start thinking that they're turning to Boris Johnson, and I think
and that's the problem. You turn it political, and you can't have the conversation.
Yeah. But as in grassroots football, it's zero policy. It's got to be zero policy. If you mess up, like my situation, I made the call, he's gone, and I'll be honest with you, the parents will probably see this, might see it, and they still hate me, whatever, but they need to educate their kids. End of.
100%.
Because he's gonna grow up to be a scramble. End of. So.
but as well, when you take that stance, it just sends a message out to everyone else within that team or everyone else within that club, depending how far the news travels. Yeah. And it just sends that message because you say that to that player isn't welcome at the club anymore. Then if any other player even thinks, oh, I'm going to be racist to this person, that person, whatever, but if I do, I'm going to lose my place in the team. And do you know what? If that stops somebody from making a racist remark or acting in a racist way, then...
Well, at the end of the day, he's lost his team, eh? So hopefully he's learned a lesson that his stupid parents had taught him. But anyway. Yeah,
but no, Smith-Meister, don't apologise for going off topic. You know, talk about racism all day. It needs to be spoke about at the end of the day because, obviously, if Jude Bellingham's been abused today, you had Kamara at Rangers on Thursday when they was playing Sparta Prague or Slavia Prague, whoever they was playing. It's just becoming a daily thing now. It's ridiculous. But yeah, we'll go back and sort of... One thing I did want to speak about is parents getting their kids involved and more so the girls' side of football because I know I've got very little experience or knowledge on the girls' side of football, but you are Mr. Girls' Football at grassroots level. So, you know, do you mind just talking a bit about that? and how you got involved and why you got involved and what plans you've got going forward.
Yeah. So obviously, people who know me, there's a few people in the chat who know me personally. When I do something, I have to take it to another level all the time. And when my daughter decided she wanted to play as well, I took her to the girls' academy. I could see the potential there. So within 6 months, I've moved the venue to a more popular venue. I've got more kids involved. I'm looking at creating teams. We were the first team to come out of the academy, and then I pushed on with the club and just create somehow. We've got 7 teams now in like 4 years, 4 or 5 years. We've got 7 teams now, different age groups, and it's just dedication to pushing it and recruiting and getting into schools, word of mouth, getting girls involved. And obviously the big thing with girls football, to fill your teams, you do have to let them play a year above, because there are players there. So it's very, very rarely in girls football, like my under 14s girls, I've got 16 players and I think 9 of them are under 13s. Now it's a challenge because like my daughter's one of them, has to play a year above.
Yeah.
And when they're playing up, like she's 12 and she can be playing some girls who are already 14. So it's a challenge for the kids physically and mentally and stuff, and for coaches. But you've got to just sort of remember that, you know what, you've got a group of girls playing, and that's enough. If you can win trophies, it's a bonus.
So if somebody's watching with a daughter and they're a bit 50-50 about whether to get her into football and, you know, or is there a market for girls football? Sort of what would you say to them, and how would you advise them to get involved in girls football?
I think it's really important that you find a club that offer the Wildcats. Like, we've been able to create a Wildcat Centre. So that is your entry into football. It's how they start mixing with other girls in the game who are starting out. And 9 times out of 10, they're all similar ability to start with. So you're never going to really rock up and see like girls whizzing past you. And if you create a football team, you're always going to drop on a few players that are exceptional and always going to be better than the other kids. But 9 times out of 10, that they'll have been a team where, you know, they ain't going to be struggling too much. And you do get the odd one who find it hard. And as a parent, you can see football's not for them. It's just one of them. But I think it's important that you get them in early doors, because if you leave it till like the 13, 14, and a team's been running for 5, 6 years, it's harder then. So it's important to get them, if your primary school, junior school, offer football, get them involved. Even if they've got to play in a boys' team, because it sets them up for the experience. And then if you can get them into a Wildcat Centre, like ours is on a Tuesday night, reception in year 1 we do. So first straight entry into football, get them involved straight away. And if they enjoy it, keep pushing them. But don't expect miracles.
Yeah.
Because as a parent, if you think they're going to be the next, I don't know, Casey Stone or Lucy Bronze, it's not going to happen. It takes time. And because all the teams have got some kids a year above, you can take time to develop and get to that level. Yeah.
But I think that is a message I'd put out to parents with sons as well. Don't think your son's going to be the next Ronaldo, Messi, Haaland or Mbappe. Just let them enjoy the football. We won't mention him. Yeah. But just let them enjoy their football.
But I mean, if you have got a girl who's interested, there's not many clubs who can facilitate girls. There's a few. I mean, in our area, we're probably one of the biggest. We are the biggest in our area. Yeah. And obviously, there's other clubs a bit more towards like Chesney Highway who have got girls' opportunities there. But it's just a case of finding a club early and get them in the Wildcats. Because the earlier you can get them involved, the better it'll be for them.
So, for any parents that might be thinking, okay, I want to get my daughter into football, Google Wildcat Centres, Wolverhampton.
Obviously at the moment, with everything that's going on, the Wildcat Centres are a bit like they're waiting for the restart. But If you just put girls football into Facebook, Google in your area, clubs should come up, an opportunity should come up. But if you go on the FA website and look for Wildcat Centres, your local area, they should come up. But as well, even if people want to message me, I know all the clubs. I know all the clubs in all the areas. So if you're not from around a Willen or Walsall, Wolverhampton postcode, and you're from Birmingham or you're from Stafford or Telford, I can easily get you in touch with what you need, who you need.
Yeah. So if your DMs are open to people who maybe want a bit of advice, bit of help, send to the Fancast, message the Fancast, message Mike. Any questions about grassroots? If you want to get involved as well, let us know, and we can maybe point you in the right direction. But Mike, I'm gonna have to leave it there because my battery's about to die on my phone. Okay. Like 14%. But that's been fun, man. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
No worries, anytime.
I appreciate it. I think what I'm going to do is, closer to the Euros, we'll do something else and we'll talk about England.
Yeah, no worries.
Right. So, but no, cheers for coming on tonight. I appreciate it. Good chatting to you.
No worries, mate.
All right. Nice one.
See you in a bit.
See you in a bit. See you later.